Welcome back to Minecraft All the Mods 10, and in today's video we're going to be doing the final part of Applied Energistics, which is the designing of the room and hopefully making our controller and ME system overall that little bit bigger. Which means we've got to dismantle our little ME system. With our system now gone, we can start working on the room. So of course we're going to go underground here and hide everything underground, and we're going to mine out the room. Now every room that I've managed to do in every single house is being pretty much underground that has been dedicated to a mod. Now this is simply because I can hide things away a hell of a lot easier than if it was above ground, because I'd have to build a whole new structure, at least underground. If I make a little like secondary room, I can sort of just block it off with some stone or with a decorative piece of material. This room down here, I'm going to be doing something a little bit interesting with, something I've never really done before, and you'll see what we end up doing a little bit later on. So once we had the room mined out, the majority of it done, started placing in some grass because I wanted like a little bit of a zen garden down here, you know. And we're gonna have the whole centerpiece of this room is going to be cherry tree, mainly because I really like the way the leaves fall off the trees. Gives the room a little bit of ambience. I really do like it. Now when it comes to designing this room, I kept it very much the same materials as the actual house itself, which is stripped mangrove and smooth sandstone. However, it comes to designing the ceiling, I'm not a very big fan of. Might end up changing it, I'm not too sure. Now, where our ME system was, we've not got rid of that because it creates a lovely little area for us to start creating power inside of that room. And we can also leave our automatic processing set up there as well. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, this room is pretty small for a fully maxed out ME controller. And yes, you are correct there. You are very correct in saying that. But on one of the 4 sides that we have going on here, I want to create a glass screen where we'll be able to look at the ME controller itself. So now I've got to mine out another really big room. So now that I've mined out this big room, I'm going to throw in the ME controller that we have going. I made a couple of extra controllers. We're just going to make it a bit bigger, and then we're going to try and see if we can upgrade this thing to a massive proportion. So with the ME controller in, all piped up, I'm using these P2P tunnels, which I very loosely understand what they do. So the P2P tunnels, as far as I'm aware, transfer channels from one ME controller to another, and you can link these together using the memory card to lock one P2P tunnel to another, creating an input and an output. We will also be using the wireless connectors in conjunction with the P2P tunnels, so we don't have to have massive cables going from one ME controller to another. We'll also color these wireless connectors so they don't all merge into one, because they can only transfer up to 32 channels themselves at a time, and coloring them will just separate that, allowing us to do more than 32 at a time. And we can also link them together at the other ME controller, transferring the channels from one controller to another. And in doing so, you'll see we have more than just 8 channels that we originally had. But of course, this isn't going to be enough, so we're going to try and upgrade it once again. Now, with the upgrades that I'm going to be making, I will be following along a tutorial. However, even in this tutorial, which I will leave a link down in the description, it is a little confusing still, because no matter what I did, I could not get this thing to work. I could only get one face of this working, which is still an upgrade to what we previously had. We used to have 32 channels, now we have 73. And that was me. I was ready to throw in the towel there and then. But I came back the next day with fresh eyes, a new outlook on the situation. And I actually managed to get it somewhat working, or at least do what I could do to my capabilities. And I managed to upgrade that 73 channels to a whopping 233. The issue I think I was having was the sub-controller, which is the secondary controller, the one where all my terminals are running off. I don't think I had enough ME controllers within that little bit of a system for it to take all of the channels. So if you're building this, make sure you keep that in mind. Make sure your sub ME controller is big enough to take all of the channels. So although it's not maxed, because I know this thing can be maxed out at about 21,500 channels, it's still good enough for us to use. With that being said, I'm going to go make a hell of a lot of ME drives and some storage disks, and I'll come back to you once we have got those. And now you can see that we have a load of storage drives and a couple of 256k storage cells. Hopefully we can start throwing in some of our items, and it really didn't take long for us to fill up 63 types of items that we could hold in each cell, because in about 3 minutes later it was all full and we needed to make a few more. Now I want to start auto crafting them, at least the 1Ks, potentially the 4Ks, and of course I know we have the channels to do so, so I started making some patterns. And with those patterns I was adding redstone, quartz dust, glass. I was adding all of these different recipes and throwing them into the correct auto crafting station. And once that was done, I requested a 4K storage part, and within a matter of seconds finally got myself a 4K storage part, which means we have successfully created a way of getting automatic 4K storage parts. Now this needs to be increased, of course, so we can get the 256k storage part, but that's where I'm going to leave it for today. This is the stuff that I can do off camera. So thank you all for watching today's episode. It has been a very, very confusing one, and I am sorry about that. Off camera, I'll just design the ME controller room, the one with the big cube in it, the cube of death. That's what we're going to call it, by the way. It's now called the cube of death because my brain cannot comprehend what that thing is doing. But thank you all for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you are new, and I will hopefully see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.